Hi guys, welcome back to today's video. My name is Jackie O. If you are new here, welcome to my channel, and if you are not new, thank you so much for coming back. I always take a quick minute to say thank you because you don't have to watch my videos if you don't enjoy them, but you do come back anyway. So for that, I am grateful. So anyway, for today's video, I thought it would be fun to do somewhat of a comparison video. Everyone loves a good dupe, and if you don't know what a dupe is, it's basically just a nickname for a product that is a replica or a duplicate of another product. Usually it's something that is like a less expensive version of a higher end product. Now, first and foremost, I will say this, as a high end and professional brand lover, believer, I will say at the end of the day, you will always get what you pay for. Most of these products, if not all of them, are not dead on. Like, I'm sorry, it's just there's something about trying to find a drugstore equivalent of every single product out there. I don't necessarily think it's possible. However, truthfully speaking, if you are on a budget, if you're looking for something that's not going to break the bank and it's going to cost you a ton of money, I would say that these product comparisons are the next best thing. Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. Every time I wear this foundation and I photograph in it or I do snaps in it, you guys are like, what foundation are you wearing? I don't know, maybe it just looks different every single time I wear it. But if you're looking for the drugstore equivalent of this beautiful, beautiful, high-end, very expensive foundation, I would say the next best thing you're gonna find is the Maybelline Fitme. I love this foundation. I'm rating these foundations based, considering the fact that they are at the drugstore. Some of these cost less than $10, and also the fact that there's not a lot of options out there for brown girls because they just don't go very dark in the drugstore range. But this one definitely makes the mark for a shade range. Coverage is awesome. Finish is actually quite similar. I noticed that the consistency between the two of these are quite similar. Now, this one actually gets compared a lot to Revlon Color Stay, and I kind of have to say I disagree with that, simply because Revlon Color Stay oxidizes terribly on my skin tone. I put it on and an hour later I look orange. Now, obviously I know I could probably offset that by just buying a lighter shade, but I kind of just want I just want the foundation to look good and photo ready as soon as I put it on. And especially there's nothing like having a fresh face, especially for those of you guys that have oily combination skin types like mine, and you want to photograph the makeup looking in its prime. And you can't do that when a foundation oxidizes. So I would say if you're looking for something that kind of somewhat compares to this, I would go with Fitme. Now, the next comparison is actually not a foundation. I'm comparing a foundation to a concealer. The Makeup Forever HD just came out with another newer version, and this is the Ultra HD. I'm absolutely obsessed with the consistency of this foundation. It is nice and thick. It just fills in any nooks and crannies in the skin. If you have textured skin, meaning like pitted or pores, this is going to be a really good ideal foundation for someone who has a skin type. On the lesser end, you have the Girl Pro Conceal. Now, obviously I know this is a concealer, but when you wear this as a foundation, Lord, let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about it. Everything from the consistency to the amount of coverage that you get. These are, I don't know, if they're not sisters, they might be cousins. Pretty close. This is one of the few exceptions to the disclaimer I gave in the beginning of inexpensive, cheap products that actually are like, yo, if I had to choose between these two, I don't know. I mean, I really like this foundation from Makeup Forever, and I'm gonna use it, duh, and I would buy it again, but yo, this one comes pretty darn close. The shade that I have in the Pro Conceal is Espresso, and they have so many different variations of the same shades, which is actually something I quite applaud. So if you don't have Espresso, I'm sure there's something that is comparable to that one. And in Makeup Forever, I use 177. Now, if you're looking for something that's not going to provide a ton of coverage, but that's going to kind of just be a sheer wash of fleek on the face when you don't really want to look like you have on a ton of makeup, I always suggest go for a tinted moisturizer or BB cream. This one from Bobbi Brown is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites, but it's not that cheap. So if you are looking for something that similar coverage, okay, not a ton of, it doesn't feel super heavy on the skin, it lets the skin breathe, it's going to moisturize the skin, Another LA Girl product I would say is the Pro BB Cream. This is one that I recently just tried for the first time, and they are quite similar in more than one way, from the consistency to the texture, the coverage. They are both really, really good, and I find that they are both really great for oily combination skin types. So if you're looking for something that's not going to make you look like a super grease ball, which a lot of tinted moisturizers do tend to do, which is really not cute, I would say go for either one of those. Another product that I have that is also a BB cream is Smashbox Camera-Ready. This is one of my favorite BB creams. However, the shade range is kind of The dark shade is the darkest they have, which would probably be a tad too light for me because I've been spending a lot more time in the sun recently than I normally do. So I'm a little darker, but I love the gel-like consistency. I love the fact that I believe this is actually oil-free. I could be wrong, but I'll check on that. But it's really, really good at controlling oil after long periods of time. I get a decent amount of coverage and I don't feel like I'm wearing a ton of makeup. But the drugstore equivalent of that BB cream, I would say, is the Ready Set Gorgeous Oil-Free Foundation from Covergirl. To me, this feels more like a BB cream than it does a foundation. It's lightweight on the skin. It's got almost the same consistency. It feels like a gel, and it just kind of lets the skin breathe. And the coverage, I would say, is light to medium. About 3 months ago, I did a review on the Luminous Weightless Foundation from Nars. I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite foundation that I've tried. It's one of those that probably you can pass on. I would say if you want that same look, go for the black Opal True Color Pore Perfecting. This literally in my head is what the Nars Luminous Weightless Foundation is supposed to do for my skin type. I just feel like the Luminous Weightless, maybe it was the primer I was using it with, it just was okay to me. It was just okay. But if you want, and when I see it on other people, it looks god amazing. I mean, it looks so skin-like. It looks lightweight. It looks like it feels lightweight. It actually does feel lightweight, but I just thought it was okay. It wasn't really something that I would consider a holy grail, and I haven't really touched it all that much since then, even though I've been meaning to just kind of play around with it a little bit more because I do believe in that product. However, if you want to just go for a product that gives you that same look, luminous, it's weightless, it makes the skin look and feel like skin, this, honey, even in the summer months, is a beautiful foundation, and I would definitely recommend it. The Becca Evermatte Shine Proof Foundation is one of my absolute favorites and probably one of my arsenals during the summer months because it's so mattifying. Sometimes it's almost too mattifying, and I always say this every single time I talk about this foundation. Coverage is awesome. It's super medium to full, but also buildable. And it's got this super thick gel-like feeling. I shouldn't say super thick because it doesn't feel heavy on the skin. But this is another one of the exceptions, almost the dead-on version of that foundation, which is $40, mind you, is the Infallible from L'Oreal. Shade range is not cute at all. I think that they should have a shade in between this one and another shade that I have to mix two shades to get a good color for this one. But this one, like from the consistency, long wearability, it keeps the shine down. I think it's great. It's just a bit too mattifying for me. I usually tend to stick to this one from Black Opal because it's more skin-like, but it's summer. Those of you guys that live in tropical climates and are looking for something that's really, really mattifying, I would say go with one of these two. Go with one of these two. And it's always good to have dupes of products because, I don't know, let's just say worst case scenario, my favorite foundation is this one from Becca and they don't have it, you know, it's out of stock, or maybe they decide to discontinue my shade. You can always go out and buy the lesser version, less expensive version of it, and you end up spending less money. So no complaints from me, girl. Now, if you like more powders, I would say MAC Studio Fix powder is one of their most popular products. But if you're not looking to spend a ton of money on this one because obviously it's more expensive, then going to the drugstore and getting you some good old True Match. All right, now, if I could just get it open. I wouldn't say that they are not the exact same comparing like the coverage. I feel like you can definitely build this up to a full coverage foundation, powder foundation. You can wear this on its own. I like the fact that L'Oreal is like doing it for shade ranges for brown girls. Okay, thank you, L'Oreal. I see you. Graftobian is not really considered a high, it's more considered a professional brand, and their products aren't really that expensive anyway. So it might just very well be in the same price range as this one from Black Opal, but I compare these two for their consistency. They both provide about the same amount of coverage, and this one from Black Opal is a little more readily available because it's not often that you run into Graftobian products. Okay, this last one that I'm going to talk about is actually not a foundation, but I hear this all the time saying that this is a dupe, and it's absolutely not, no shade, because I love the Maybelline Fitme concealer, but can we just stop comparing this to Nars Creamy Radiant Concealer? It is not, it never has been, it never will be there. Just no. No, the consistency is completely different. The shade range is completely different. And I actually like this concealer. I buy this frequently, but it has nothing. Sorry. I'm sorry. No comparison. I didn't want to mention, I mean, I ideally would have loved to have thrown in concealers into this video, but I literally have like 3 drugstore concealers that I like. So I didn't feel like this video would be as, I didn't feel like the video on concealers would be as helpful because there's just not a ton of concealers that run dark enough. So the 2 or 3 I have, I really like, and I just kind of stick to. And personally, when it comes to concealers, I just overall prefer higher end products. Bobbi Brown, Nars, some of my favorite concealers are from Kevyn Aucoin. They just do it for me. Drugstore concealers, I do think we still need to work on. I do like LA Girl Pro though, I will say that. So anyway, if over time I do compile a list of concealers that I really like and I'm finding compare to higher end products, then I'll do a video just like that. But for now, that's all I have for today. I really hope that you guys found this video helpful. If you have a dupe, share it down below and let us know. Let's talk about makeup. Okay guys, I will see you on my next video. Bye.